this out. A 6-foot-long aquatic predator that had a salamander-like body shape and an alligator-like head and teeth lived right here in New Mexico 240 million years ago. Here with more information on one of the top predators of its days is Larry Reinhardt, retired museum employee who helped with that dig. I want to thank you for joining us this morning, Larry. So let's get right into it. What is it called? Let's start there.
It's called Eocyclotosaurus apetolatus.
Oh, wow, that's a mouthful.
Yes.
So how did you guys come up with a name like that?
Well, Eocyclotosaurus is a genus of animals, a group of animals that already existed.
Okay.
Apetolatus is the name of this new species.
And you mentioned that it's 6 foot long. That was the, I guess, the average.
That's an average.
Length that you guys thought it would be. Right. Let's talk about, because I think it's so fascinating to know, that you guys are finding these in certain areas around New Mexico. You said this dig was around the Santa Rosa area?
Right, in the Pecos River Valley.
So people in Santa Rosa, you guys are living right now where this guy was roaming 240 million years ago. That's pretty interesting. And how did you guys find that dig? Did you guys find it? Somebody else did?
It was found a long time ago in the 90s by some people from the Museum of Northern Arizona. And then over the years, various people have dug in that site, but nobody before the Museum of Natural History here in Albuquerque had good enough material to know that it was for sure a new species and to name it.
And you guys sure did find it. And you guys know now a little bit more about it. Let's talk about, what did it eat?
It would have eaten fish primarily, and it would also have caught small animals along the river shore, lake shore.
Okay, right. Being 6 feet tall or 6 feet long, it's not that big of a predator, but still pretty dangerous. The teeth, pretty sharp.
Yeah, it had several hundred very small teeth, mostly for catching fish.
Okay.
And then it had several large fangs, 2-inch long or so fangs.
Some things today, how would it relate to it? Do you think it was maybe an ancestor of the alligator?
No, it's an amphibian, so it would be closely related to things like frogs and salamanders.
Oh, okay.
But it did look a lot like an alligator.
It sure did.
And that's because it did the same thing in its day that alligators do now. It was an aquatic predator, and it could swim. It had a big, wide, swimmy tail.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. We were talking about this earlier. You mentioned that, well, the average person may consider it a dinosaur. Oh, look, there's a picture there. That's pretty impressive. We may consider a dinosaur. You say this is pre-dinosaurs.
That's correct, yes.
And why is that? What's the difference between dinosaur and pre-dinosaur?
Just hadn't evolved yet.
Okay, okay.
And dinosaurs evolved from a line of reptiles, and this animal evolved from a line of amphibians.
Where can somebody find more information about this amphibian if they want to learn more about it?
At the Museum of Natural History.
Is it always on display there?
It is now. I don't know how long the exhibit will last, but for some months at least.
Yeah, it's so neat. And to know that you were part of the dig, it took you guys how long to get this guy out?
Well, we dug there for 3 summers, parts of 3 summers. We had digs going in other areas as well.
And when you guys finally pulled it out, what were you thinking? Wow.
Oh yeah, it was a wow.
Pretty impressive, right?
Very impressive.
Well, Larry, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Very interesting information about this little guy, or big guy. And again, you can check it out at the museum, right? It's going to be there for quite some time. We don't know exactly how long, but go check it out maybe this weekend. Thank you again for joining us this morning.
Welcome. Nice to be here.
We'll be right back.